2018. It is 5:30 something in the Thomas J. Smith Council Chambers. This is meeting number 2 of 2018. Would you all please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Kathleen, roll call, please.
Wilson,
Did you want it?
Phillips,
Here.
McCampbell,
Here.
Murray. Here. Rinker.
Here.
Okay. Tonight, are we ready? Okay. Tonight, before we get started with the meeting tonight, we would like to open up with a picture of our chief. Now, this is Chief when he was out in the woods and ran into a little hole, and I think he got muddy before that day was out because I think he had some problems maneuvering. Anyways, he's a little bit better with the police car than he is the four-wheeler, but since he is going to be leaving us, we want to recognize you at the beginning of every meeting with a special picture. We're starting nice, my friend. It's going to get ugly as we go forward. But I am going to ask the council members to put your grade up on what you think that picture should get.
Grade or number?
Your number,
Your
please.
number, 1 to 5.
We'll start with you, Mr. Rinker.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know, he looks like he's knee-deep in it.
Yeah,
It's
but
pretty muddy. He's got a smile on his
I'll give you
face.
a 2.
Oh,
You
that's
had
pretty
one,
good.
too. I left you one. I'm gonna go with a solid 2 as well, Chief. Nice pose. A lot of hair there. I like it. Good wave.
I think his hair looks great. I give him a 7.
Oh,
Wow. I think he's got more hair than I do. You get nothing, my friend, on that one. I think he's showing off. But if you would come up here real quick, Chief, we'd like to give you this. Since you've decided to go missing in action, we decided we just wanted to give you this card from a few of us. And also, we'd like to present you with this. This is part of your disguise kit. When you go shopping, you can put on some of these to help your disguise.
Thank you.
And also, this is blends in. You can
yeah,
put that
that's
on your head, and wherever you go, they won't see you maybe. So we're just going to try to help you to try to transition into your new life, Chief.
Well,
So
thank you very much.
anyways, would you like to say anything on the grades that you got from the pictures?
No, I just appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. I know some of you are wondering, why did they do that? Because we can. That's why, because we can. Okay, next on the agenda tonight is tenure awards. We have 2 gentlemen that are receiving 30 years of service awards tonight, and what a privilege it is to be giving those out. I'm going to have you read one.
yep, thank you. I go first. All right, Your Honor, I have a certificate of recognition. It states, in grateful recognition of 30 years of dedicated service to the city of Burlington, as of January 1st, 2018, we hereby present Doug Baird with this certificate of recognition. Congratulations.
Normally Andy does this, but I'm going to go ahead and take pictures. You guys come on in.
You guys want to get in? I'll get in. Sure. Hey, this is you, man. This isn't about me.
Oh, yeah.
Hold that up.
I'll take it.
You know, you're good people, my friend. I take back everything I said about you last week. Over right here.
Hey, look, we're all taller than you.
That's right, that's right. For once.
1, 2, and 3. Come on up here.
Come on up. We'll wait.
Well, I have somebody send it to me, but. Perfect, thank you.
30 years.
Hold this the next one.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I'd just like to say thanks. 30 years, it really doesn't seem like 30 years. I can remember just the first couple days on the job, and there's kind of an older captain there said, you won't believe it, but in a blink it'll be gone. And believe it or not, it's kind of true. I want to say thanks. you know, to the council, to the city manager, to the community as a whole, to my family, to my wife. It's kind of been a long haul for them, you know. I mean, they stand the test of time right alongside of us. So, I mean, when you think about that and you think about police officers and the job they're trying to do every day, think about their families. Because they're at home really, are you coming back? And they, you know, and there's things, whether it's in the paper or whatever, you know, they're taking that heat too, if you will. So, I mean, I'm very, very grateful. Without that support system, you can't survive in this job, so thank you. It's very much appreciated. But I'm grateful. I'm humbled. I've been very blessed to work for the city of Burlington. This community's, it's just unbelievable. I mean, just recently, you know, you talk about whether it's a K-9 or a new police building or the reserve program, and the support has just been unbelievable. I mean, the referendum at almost 78% is, those things are unheard of in today's world and tight budget times. So, you know, I just want to say thanks. I'm very blessed. I was given an opportunity and tried to make the most of it and represent the people of this community, whether it's here locally or out and about with your job. You know, I wanted people to be proud of the Burlington Police Department and people to be proud of this community. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Amen. But we're not done. We've got one more that's just as crazy as him.
Your Honor, I have a certificate of recognition and grateful recognition of 30 years of dedicated service to the city of Burlington as of January 5th, 2018. We hereby present Dennis Kramer with the certificate.
Come on, Dad. Come on, Dad. So does it feel like you've been working for 30 years for the police department? That's a long time. Yeah, I mean, we still got you. You know, let's do a picture.
One, two, and three.
Thank you. All right. Congratulations.
Well, the chief gave a very great explanation, as always, Mayor and council, and I do have a few more years to go. He's going to be going here in a couple months, but I got a few more years to go yet, so I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. But with that being said, he's exactly right. When we started 30 years ago, he started a few days before me. I worked as a dispatcher for about a year and then got hired as a police officer in that same year later on. And actually, when I got back from the academy, Chief Beard and I was together, and he was doing some of my training as it was back then. And he knows what I'm talking about.
He knows what I'm talking about.
So times have changed, and 30 years does go by in a blink of an eye. But he's 100% right when he talks about family and the support that we have at home is the greatest thing that runs us through 30 years of law enforcement life. And with that being said, I have to thank my wife, and I appreciate all my family and this community for supporting me for 30 years. And when I came to the community from Lee County and moved up here, it seemed like it was a long way from home, but it soon became my home. So with that being said, 30 years, this is a great community, and like I said, I'll be around here for a little while longer, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Dennis Kramer. All right. Those are two heavy hitters, so after that, we're out of here. Can we get a motion?
Yeah.
If the wives want to get on out of here, we appreciate you guys coming down. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the consent agenda. All matters listed under item 1 consent agenda having been discussed are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If a discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately On the consent tonight, we have the usual finances, miscellaneous, minutes of previous meetings, payroll and city claims, beer, liquor, wine, and cigarettes, reports, and bonds. We have two resolutions. First is a resolution approving an agreement with Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad for easements, support, oversight, and general conditions for working in proximity to Burlington Northern Santa Fe Main Line during work on the Mount Pleasant Street Bridge project. And the second is a resolution approving the purchase of a temporary construction easement from a lot off Osborne Street, PIN number 11-32-329-003 for the construction of Mount Pleasant Street Bridge project. And we also have several new appointments. The first one's Low Rent Housing Agency, Annika McVeigh, thank you. Grow Greater Burlington, myself. Convention and Visitors Bureau, John Billups. Downtown Partners, Linda Murray. Emergency Management Commission, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. Des Moines County Solid Waste Commission, Annie Wilson. Economic Development Board, Annie Wilson. Resource Enhancement and Protection County Committee, or the REAP, that is Annie Wilson as well. Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission, Matt Rinker. Renewable Energy Commission, Shanae McCampbell. Southeast Iowa Homeless Coordinating Board, Linda Murray. Assessors Conference Board, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. Burlington Bees Association, Matt Rinker and Linda Murray, alternate. Steamboat Senior Citizens Corporate Board, Shanae McCampbell. COBCO, that'd be Matt Rinker. Des Moines DESCOM Control Board, John Billups. And Greater Burlington Sports Commission, Linda Murray. Does anybody have any, I was gonna say, does anybody have any problems with these appointments? You guys good?
I'm good.
What we discussed last week.
Your Honor, I have a motion to approve all listed under the item 1 consent agenda.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Moved in second. Kathleen, let's vote on it.
Did anyone want to move any, take anything off?
Thank you.
Sorry about that, that was my...
Man, I just totally blew you guys off. I apologize. Would anybody like to have anything removed from the consent agenda? So, thank you. I see none. Counsel? Thank you. Kathleen?
Phillips?
Aye.
McCampbell?
Aye.
Murray? Aye. Rinker?
Aye.
Okay. This is time for consideration of a sale of property locally known as 848 South Garfield Avenue, City of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions. Mr. Tisland.
This is 848 on the east side of Garfield Avenue, kind of in line with West Avenue as it comes from the west, just to the north of Perkins Park. This is a property the city acquired through the abandoned building program. It is one that had a fire and was demolished. We have an interest from both neighbors in acquiring a portion of the property as presented. This is north 29.5 feet sold to Charles W. and Joan K. Price as joint tenants for $500, and south 23 feet to Justin and Haley Hamilton for $500. Purchaser shall complete one of the following. If these individuals purchase the lot, they have to combine the lot with adjacent lot under their ownership within 30 days. If there are any other bids outside adjacent property owners, they have to construct a single-family home within 180 days and start construction or pull a permit within 60 days. But we do have bids from the two adjacent neighbors currently for the north and south portions of the lot, splitting it between the one on the south and the one in the north.
Are they here tonight? Okay. Are we taking any more, opening up any bids tonight?
If anyone else wanted to bid, they would have to construct a single-family home on the property.
Was there anybody here that came to bid on that property tonight? Okay.
Your Honor, I have a motion to close the statement for consideration of sale of property locally known as 848 South Garfield Avenue, City of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions.
Take a second.
Second.
Kathleen?
Phillips?
Aye.
McCampbell?
Aye.
Murray? Aye. Rinker?
Aye.
Your Honor, I have a resolution approving the sale of property locally known as 848 South Garfield Avenue, City of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions.
Second.
Thank you, sir. Kathleen, let's vote.
Phillips?
Aye.
McCampbell?
Aye.
Murray? Aye. Rinker?
Aye.
Okay, well done. Next, we have consideration of a sale of property locally known as 424 North 3rd Street, City of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions. Mr. Tisland.
This is the former police building located at 424 North 3rd at the corner of 3rd and Columbia. We had an offer to purchase the property from Trinity Hospitality Group, subject to some conditions of constructing a minimum 30-room hotel on the property and adjacent, investing a minimum of $3 million, and starting construction or renovation or demolition within 120 days of buyer receiving possession, with the city remaining occupant of the building until they move out of that facility. And Jim wants to go over some of the current status of this request.
Okay, so this is one where the purchaser is looking to combine this purchase along with the purchase of the building immediately to the south of it as well. Over the weekend, I think came up some issues with the process of completing that arrangement for the purchase of that property. They are looking to delay final decision on this agreement until after they can get that worked out, if they can successfully work out those negotiations. If the council is favorable of doing that, the way that, speaking with Kathleen to make sure that we do this correctly, we would close the hearing. After the hearing was over, a motion and a second to approve the resolution, and then a motion to continue to the following meeting. Would give them the opportunity, if they were to able to complete those negotiations, to get anything that's needed to work out to be worked out. Again, with the offer that's before you, this is different than some of the other ones. Speaking with the attorneys in regards to the bidding procedures on this, we have an offer on it. We put an awful lot of conditions on it. Selling, their determination is based off of what we're requiring. You have a building that needs demolished. You got a significant investment that needs to be put into after that. With the other pieces that are with it, the dollar that was being offered on that with those conditions can be reasonably be considered a fair market value offer, just because of how much expenditure goes along with cleaning that property up. With that in mind, there isn't a need to take, similar to what some of our typical procedure is, where there isn't a need to take other offers into consideration. You can take the offer that you have. You can also take, at the same time, you take input from others, and if you had someone say that they're looking to do something different, you can certainly take that under consideration as you decide what you want to do with the resolution as well. The process that's outlined here does require them to have after this is done, they do have to have it demolished within 6 months after we're moved out. It provides time for us to still stay in the facility until after the new facility is done, and gives adequate time to move or transition stuff over from the one location to the other. Has a condition on there, not just that within 6 months time frame they have to hit the demolition process, but they have 2 years to complete construction. And the construction does require, at least as Eric had mentioned, the $3 million invested in 30 rooms constructed. Both of the requirements on the demo and the construction do provide some leeway if they're making significant progress, that we can give them additional time if necessary. It also allows the clawback if they don't meet the terms for the property to come back into our possession. Does that kind of cover everything in
Yeah,
there?
I think so, yep.
Before we close, any questions from the audience? I see none. Council? Okay. So,
You have a question, John?
Well, no, I guess I'm a little disappointed because I thought that was pretty much,
It's just some issues between them and
okay.
on the purchase of the other facility, nothing with us.
Okay, thank you.
And hopefully it all works out, but
Yeah.
I'm still thinking positive on that.
Yep.
So can we get a motion to close?
Your Honor, I have a motion to close on the property known as 424 North Third.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, both of you. Kathleen?
Phillips,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Murray. Aye. Rinker.
Aye.
So we need to,
Introduce the resolution.
Motion to continue?
I'm going to introduce the resolution first.
and then after that, we'll do a
And second,
continuation.
yeah.
Okay.
So I have a resolution that, right here. I'm sorry, I have a resolution approving the property known as,
Approving the sale.
approving the sale of the property locally known as 424 North Third Street with conditions.
Second.
Moved in second.
Okay. And now,
Your Honor, the motion to continue the resolution approving the sale of property locally known as 424 North Third Street in the city of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions to the February 5th, 2018 city council meeting.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Kathleen?
Phillips,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Murray,
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye.
Oh, I sure hope when we come back to that, we get some good news. Okay, moving right along, number 3, we have consideration of plans and specs for the 2017 Law Enforcement Center site work improvements. Big Chief.
Yeah, good evening. If you want to pull up the demolition. And just to introduce Perry Hines, he represents Carlay Nelson, our construction manager on the project. I asked him to come along in case you had some questions that I couldn't answer about the project. But when we talked about this at the work session, it's the parking lot to the back of the building or to the south of the building. And everything you see that's Xed out or crossed out, those are the current islands or obstructions that would be in the parking lot. And those are going to be demolished or removed as part of this project. Stick up the other one, Eric, please. And then there's how it'll look after that's gone. And I think when we take that out, we're overlaying with asphalt, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. There's some areas that will have some concrete paving. I believe the entrance apron into the parking lot, which is on the east
Can I
side.
have you move closer to that
Yeah,
mic?
sorry
I just want to
about
make sure
that.
that we get that.
Once, my name's Perry. I'm with Carl Nelson Company. I'm the construction manager for the project. The concrete apron that's shown on the east side, which is at the bottom of the page, that'll be concrete. The places where Chief had mentioned that we're going to be removing islands, those will be paved with asphalt. So the current contract will be split up into 2 bid packages. One is a demolition concrete package, and the other one is an asphalt patch and repavement package. And the estimated value is about $60,000, which was in the original project budget. We did bid it with the overall project back in July. We didn't have very good bid participation, and we felt that it would be good to reject the bids and postpone it. We can bid here in December. And actually, I've been getting calls, and the plans aren't even out yet, and I'm getting calls from contractors that have heard the hearing, and they want to see it, so that'll be good. And we made some changes and some reductions, just based upon how the construction is proceeding right now as well, so, yep.
So how's everything else going? Perry, you want to talk about it?
I think everything else is actually going really well. I mean, we have a really good group of contractors there. We've got a good construction team. I mean, I can't speak for the chief, but I think we're working well. Carl Nelson, and the PD and the chief and the 2 majors. I mean, we've had some challenges, but, I mean, there's a lot of good things that are going on, and it's typical of the construction project, and, I mean, I'm happy with the way we're progressing. I know he mentioned the schedule. We're on track to still be substantially complete with the construction phase in April, finishing up in May, and then his team
That's
takes
really
over
awesome.
from that, so, yeah,
This has been a long time coming.
yeah. No, it's an exciting project, and it's been a good one, so I'm really happy to be involved with that.
Awesome, awesome. Any questions or concerns from the audience? We've got Perry still standing there. I see none. Okay, counsel?
I just say I toured that a couple weeks ago and looked great. Chief walked me through it. I'm excited. Looks like a great project. Quick question is, the parking lot, I know this is the south side of that building, but the parking lot across the street to where the buildings used to be, is that within this project or is that gonna be a separate project? Is it? Okay, all right.
Are you looking to bid that as a combined project in the, what's that? With 6 in Washington. And we're hoping to get that done yet this spring, but
That would be nice. All right. Any other questions, comments? We're good? Thank you, sir.
Great, thanks.
Your Honor, I have a motion to close the plans and specifications for the 2017 Law Enforcement Center site work improvements.
Second.
Moved in second. Kathleen?
Phillips,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Murray,
Aye.
Rinker,
Aye. Your Honor, I have a resolution approving the plans and specifications for the 2017 Law Enforcement Center site work improvements.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Let's do this. Kathleen?
Phillips,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Murray,
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye.
Well done.
Your Honor, I have before you a resolution approving an agreement between the City of Burlington and Alliant Energy Incorporated for all night lighting service on South 14th Street.
Good evening.
Need a
Before you is,
second. Sorry.
Second.
sorry, I was just too quick to get ready. Right? Before you is a resolution approving installation of one street light. The reason why it's on the regular agenda is because the request was for two. After review with the police department, my recommendation would be to install one street light on an existing pole, seen here at the map. The red is existing poles, the yellow dots are existing lighting, and then the yellow triangle that I have on the red dot would be where I would put the new street light.
Anybody in the audience have any questions or concerns? Let's deal with that first. I see none. Council, where you guys at? I'm good.
I'm good.
Good with it?
Linda Murray's good too?
I think so. I'm curious, why are we going instead of more centrally located?
Nick, Linda wants to know why we're going more centrally located.
Why we're not?
You can tell Doug was speaking in this earlier. I have to. The proximity to the other pole, just because that's probably about 300 foot. That would be kind of a mid-light block. That's typically what we have in other places, but kind of just on the perimeter of where we have other things. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Kathleen?
Phillips,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Murray,
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye.
Okay. Wow, we've made it through the tough stuff. You guys have been lovely tonight. So now we're going to entertain you. Is there anybody from the audience that has any comments, questions, or concerns? Leon? Leon? Oh, Leon's not here. All righty. Mr. Tisland? Linda Murray?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Well, it's good to see you.
Thank you. I was trying to think of something profound to say about the snow. It's great for cross-country skiing, but I know most of you aren't, not the message you want to hear.
Maybe 3 people did. So anyways, John Phillips.
Don't have anything except for Chief, get used to it. You're gonna have a little bit more coming at you. I'm glad you gave us till April. And, everybody be careful out there. The weather's still pretty treacherous, so make sure to bring your dogs in and your cats in and take care of each other. Thanks.
Well said. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody. I hope you all enjoyed the day. Also, for those that want to take animals out to the homeless shelter, they're not taking cats right now because the cats have the flu. So I've never heard of such a thing, but there's a virus going around even at the homeless shelter, so, or for the animal shelters. So just be mindful. A lot of sickness going out there. Take care of yourself. Make sure you dress and bundle up warm, and don't send kids out not properly dressed in this weather, please.
don't look at me when you say that.
I'm sorry, that was for Jim Furneaux, for his wife. Don't send him out like that again. Mr. Rinker?
I don't have anything other than to say, thanks again, Chief and Mr. Kramer, for all your service.
Amen.
Just like to reflect on MLK Day and what it truly stands for, so.
Right on. Point guard.
We'll have another meeting after this, so after the meeting does close, we'll turn everything off, give time to a few minutes here to get resettled and start up the work session to deal with the budget. But prior to that, Nick?
It was noted on Friday, we had a report of an issue of some sewer water causing a problem. As you can see here, here's a map. It's hard to describe. Kemper's true value is 608, and then the Dollar Tree is 626. The line that kind of swoops through their parking lot meets up with 56J11. There is an issue somewhere in and around the manhole, just north of it. Unfortunately, we cannot get our camera down in to see it. It's full of water, or sewer water right now, and our jet is unable to poke a hole through it. So we have to excavate, and this is kind of an emergency situation because it is discharging sewer into the neighborhood. We have to act relatively quickly. If you want to show the next picture, due to its terrain difference between the parking lot up above and the distance down below, which is probably 25 foot, we don't have the equipment necessary to go in there and excavate. The bottom of the flow line is about 30 foot deep from the top of the manhole. So we don't have that kind of an equipment. So today we met with some contractors in the area to at least show them the project. We will probably be going out to a kind of a competitive quoting process where it'll be mostly based on time and materials. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, you're saying we're going to have this competitive process, but I mean, we need to act pretty quickly.
It'll be staff driven. It'll be staff approved. We did something similar with an emergency repair to a water main line. And so this is something that we have to act because the DNR requires us to have a plan in place and get something done within a certain time period. I think it's 5 days.
You have to have a response as to how you're getting it done within the 5 days.
Correct, but to act upon that response is also something that we need to do.
Just curious, because the person that owns that house is a client of mine, but is there any issue with the house right now? Because that's significantly lower, so is all that sewage running into the back of their yard?
Well, I believe this summer is actually when the issue was somewhat started. There was some times where it rained. It may or may not have entered the basement. It's hard to tell.
Okay.
But until we jetted it, we then stirred up some material in the line. It had been clear water coming out, so it had no sewage smell. It kind of appeared as though it was maybe a spring, but when we stuck our camera into the line, that's when we knew where it was coming from.
So you mentioned that it's been leaking since this summer. Had you known about it since the summer?
We did not know about it until it was reported to us on Friday. So.
Wow, man.
This could be quite expensive. We actually did a sewer repair, I think, 3 years ago on South Central, and that was in the $68,000 bracket. I don't think that this one will be any different. It might be a little more difficult actually than the other one because you have a contained area. Now you have, that depth of excavation with nothing on the one side, and so putting boxes down is rather difficult. So we will be into the parking lot of the Kemper Dollar Tree parking lot, so we'll have to be replacing all that. So there's a lot of unknowns, unfortunately, with this project. This is a fairly old manhole. It's made out of stone. As we go down, we're going to have to demo it and then have to probably rebuild it all the way from the bottom up. There's a lot of lines that come into there, of which have to be probably extracted and then re-put back in. So I just wanted to make you aware that this is going to be kind of a costly project, but hopefully we can try to minimize that.
Man, it'd been nice if we'd have known about it during the summer. Okay.
Construction costs might have been higher.
Right, easier to work. Okay. Anything else, O bearer of bad news?
I don't think so.
All
So look at this, I'm even now making other people deliver my bad news.
He's getting good. Don't smile, Kramer, that's gonna encourage him. Okay. So if there's nothing else?
I missed something here.
Yes.
This Saturday would be Saturday, January 20th. The South Hill meeting is going to have their guest presenter is Charlie Nichols, and he's going to be talking about the wonderful program called Healthy Neighborhood Program. This is where you get together with your neighbors and you can receive up to a $1,000 rebate on home repairs. So if anyone's interested in that program, I encourage you to attend that. It's at 9 a.m.
Well said.
The Burlington Gym on South 4th Street.
I'd also point out that that is a CIP item that, or at least part of the funding for that is a CIP item, and some of the other funding was contingent on us putting money into it. And so some of this is still a contingent application process.
Okay. And I told you the wrong location. It's at Grimes Elementary Cafeteria,
Yes.
Saturday, the 20th at 9 a.m.
Jim, do you wanna ruin that part too?
No, I'll leave
So
that alone.
make sure, okay. I give you a 0, my friend, okay. Before I get to the Ugler, can I get a motion?
Your Honor, I move we close.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you both. Kathleen, let's do this.
Phillips,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Murray,
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned. We thank you so much, and we'll see you here in a little bit, those of you that want to stick around for budget.